Hello everyone. Welcome to Expressions Craft Studio. My name's Georgiana Franks and today I am going to show you how to make an easel card. It's for my nephew who's 7 and it's a monster card. So stay tuned. I hope you like what you see, and if you do, please know that you can access this file in Cricut Design Space, which is where I created it. And you can do that by joining my group, my Facebook group, Expressions Craft Studio, and there will be a link in the description below. And you can access this file for free. And let me know what you think. I think it's really cute. So I'm going to switch over to Design Space and we're going to start cutting. I've already designed it, so we're going to start cutting. So I've already selected my papers, and I'm going to start by taping them down. A little bit of tape left over on the back of this one, which doesn't have much stick left to it. So I'm just lining it up right in the corners. And actually I'm going to pull it in just a little bit because I don't want to cut through the tape when I'm cutting my image. And this just gives me a little bit more wiggle room. So I'm using painter's tape. You can use washi tape, you can use uh, purple tape that everybody recommends. I actually don't like this. It does not have nearly enough stick for me. But a lot of people rave about it, so use what you got. That's what I always say. There are plenty of people out there who'll try to sell you something. I'm not one of them. You can't see I'm off screen, but I'm just taking and sticking the tape to my cotton t-shirt to kind of de-stick it just a little bit. And I'm going to put this barely at the top of the card here. And I may cut through the tape a little bit, but I don't want to cut through it a lot. I'm going to do the same with all 4 sides. Now, if I were doing a lot of intricate cuts, I would not use this method. I would just get a new mat, because intricate cutting, where you're cutting out a lot of little, like, lacy type designs, if your mat's not sticky, those are not going to cut well. At least that's been my experience. So just a word of caution to you. A little stick off of that. Now this one, I actually try to line it up so it doesn't go over the edge. So that probably will cut through a little bit since I did scoot it over. Alright, last one. Alright, and so when I do each of my colors, each of my layers, I will use the same technique. Tape down my edges, and then I'll cut. So here we're back to mat 1. And we're going to load our Cricut. And we're going to use this as a thicker cardstock. I don't know if it needs to cut it twice, but we'll go ahead and do it, because this is the Neena Classic Crest Solar White 110-pound cardstock. And as you can see on the screen, it does tell you to load your scoring stylus and a fine point blade, and I've just loaded my scoring stylus. So I'm going to press go on the Cricut. Alright, so that's done cutting, so we're going to eject it from the mat and move on to the next color. So you can see, because it cut twice, it cut out pretty nice. Alright, so everything's cut out. you may remember I told you that some of the cuts, if they're intricate, won't work very well. Well, I don't know that you can see it, but there's a little piece of paper there where even this was too intricate for an older non-sticky mat, and that's really not that much, but I ended up having to cut that apart. So just so you know, if your mats aren't sticky, that's the kind of stuff that can happen. And I'm still trying to trim that. There we go. I think I finally got it. So we're going to start piecing this all together, and then we will have a birthday card. So that's going to be the 7. All right, so I'm going to start by gluing these smaller pieces together. There we go. We're just going to put some glue. Now, a lot of people I have never used it, so I can't say one way or another, but a lot of people love the art glitter glue. It's not for glitter, that's just what it's called. I've never tried it because I have so many other glues. Did I just put that on there backwards? Nope. Put it on backwards. Oh well, we're going to have to make it work. What I have been using is the Aleene's original quick dry tacky glue, and I find that works pretty well for me. I'm debating if I want to take a little bit of ink and go around the edges, especially since I put that on there wrong, just to kind of highlight his mouth a little bit. I think I will. So I'm going to use Spectrum Noir Harmony Inks Quick Dry. This one's Ocean Blue. If it doesn't work out, I'll end up recutting this piece. Just get a little bit of ink on your pad or brush or whatever you're using, and you just brush it along the edge of the card. Now you can go more into the card if you into the piece if you wish. I just don't. I just want to add a little bit of shading, kind of make it look like it's got a little bit more depth than it really does. That's probably pretty good. Now, do I want to do the nose? I can only do one edge of the nose since I already glued it together, but I think that'll be alright. A little bit's better than none. Alright, so we're going to line these pieces up and glue them down. So I'm just lining his teeth up with the scores that were made for the teeth. And press it down and press down that cut in the teeth line there as well. Get nice and pressed down. That's pretty good. So then we'll do the same with the nose and eyes. Quite lined up right there. There we go. Starting to look like a monster now, but a cute monster. My finger in the ink. I'm done with that color, so I'll put the cat back on it. So now we're going to line up our 7 and glue it down. Probably bleed out a little bit, but it dries clear. Oh, I got it too high up, that's why. There we go. there. We'll put that. Now it did have a belly button with this original sign. I didn't want the belly button because I knew the 7 was going to cover it a little bit, so I took the belly button out. So now we're going to just clip it on. And you can always change the colors if you don't like these colors or your papers. Use what appeals to you or to the person you're making it for. Pressed. And then we're going to glue the bottom half of this guy onto the card base. And so when we're done, we'll actually stand up like that. But before I do that, I think I want to dye the background of this paper a little bit so it's not such a stark contrast. And while I've got my glue out, I guess I will go ahead and glue all these together. You don't have to turn it over. My hands get a little clammy, and so I don't want to smear the ink. That looks pretty good, and I'll just ink the edges of it. Put my pen back in my glue for now. If I can find the hole, there we go. And we'll switch out for a green ink pad. Now we will glue him only at the bottom. You see the fold there. You don't want to glue above the fold because then your piece won't stand up. And you want it to stand up because it's an easel card. Put it on there. So we're going to get our glue back out. We're going to glue. Now when you're gluing big pieces like this, or bigger, you might want a bottle that has a bigger tip, or a brush, or something. You don't want to use so much glue that your paper warps, but you don't want it drying before you get your piece on there either. This doesn't usually happen, but so just trying to line it up good. Just a little bit down. And I think that's pretty good. So we're going to push that down. And then we'll glue this piece in. So we're going to pop this up with some pop-up foam. And then you can see it will stand up, and it says wishing you a roaring good birthday. And he'll be 7, so that's why the 7. You could glue this closer to the bottom, but then when you close it, you will see it. So that's why I'm pushing it up a little bit. So we're going to glue that down. We will be done. All right. Like so. And I'm trying to keep the edges of the fur inside the shape of the body. And I did, once I made this piece, I did reduce it a little bit just to make sure it would stay within the borders. And, oh, I forgot to put pop-up tape. Well, it's standing up anyway. I meant to put pop-ups behind their dimensionals, and instead I just glued it down. Now, because this is 4 layers, it's going to work. If it was just 1 layer, or even 2, it probably wouldn't stand up that well. So I did mess that up, but again, he's not going to know or care. And there you have it. A little monster easel birthday card. And the one advantage that there would have been to me actually remembering to pop it up is I would have been able to slip a little money under there. So We'll just have to put that in there differently. There we go.